Well, I've talked about this before a little bit, so I'll go into it some more. I think I have an addiction to strip clubs. I think I do. And over the years, I've had some real fun times in the strip club. There's a different dynamic now, however, because I have a little bit of money in my pocket, and I can more or less come and go as I please. So those are two logistical issues that change the whole interaction, if you will. Now it's interesting because I hadn't, over the past, I don't know, let's say 4 years or so, or 5 years, really had not been in the club, really had not been in a strip club, and one of the big reasons, of course, obviously, is I didn't have the money. The little bit of money that I did have, I said to myself, I don't need to use it in there. And also, I didn't want, when I'm there and I'm having a good time, it gets wild. My mind is not as functional as it should be, you see. So, consequently, I run the greater risk of doing something dumb. It hasn't happened yet, and I hope it never will. But, as I said, over the past 4 or 5 years, I felt like I was not in a space, or even 6 years, I felt like I was not in a space where I could allow myself to just go berserk. But I think it is an addiction. Now that I've got a little bit of money in my pocket, I have been hitting the strip club, what I call the circuit, pretty doggone hard. Over the past 2-3 months, I've really been hitting it hard. And I think I told you in another video, I dropped buckets of money. And I got more phone numbers from beautiful strippers than I've ever gotten before in my life, which is not to say, again, I've had intimate relations with beautiful strippers. And the way I look at it, it's like, hey, if I'm gonna hang out in a strip club, there's no point in my dragging home some walrus or some wildebeest or some damn polar bear, right? I want to get the best that I can get, and like I said, I've done it. I've enjoyed it, but it's a weird dynamic, as I said, especially if you've got a little bit of money in your pocket, which I'm fortunate to have over the short term, anyway. So there's a few things going on. One thing is, like I said, I've dropped piles of money. So all of a sudden, there are people that I have known there. They've known me. I've known them for more than 10 years. And they basically, they're just doing their jobs. They're the managers, they're the floor managers, they're the bouncers. I kind of have a reputation among the bouncers as not being a jerk, not being an idiot. Even when I get a little toasted or plastered, I can stay calm. And I don't do anything too terribly stupid, knock on wood. And I basically know when it's time for me to go home. But after I spent all this money, I actually had a woman who's the manager there. I've known her for at least 10 years. She gave me a walking tour of the entire club. I couldn't believe it. There were spaces in that club that I never knew existed. And she was very pleasant and very engaging. She actually told me, we see you're spending all this money, and we want to just let you know what your options are. As I said, that one particular night, I had... Oh, I'm so sorry.